Welcome back to the Brewing Bright Minds podcast. We are continuing our series on what do our children learn from a preschool program. And now we're on to our older friends, our preschool and pre-K friends, anything leading up to before our kids go to kindergarten. A lot of our themes that we talk about, in addition to weather, is community helpers. Mm-hmm. And so our kids learn about, different jobs in the community and how we all work together for each other and support each other. And that also gives them context in terms of, adults in their lives and what they do and how do they play a part in society.
Yeah. And community helpers is actually huge. That's why you see it in every preschool classroom. They always do that theme because that's where children find out about police officers, firefighters, doctors, dentists, all of these different jobs in our community, and why they are so important. And that's where they learn safety of, fire safety. Mm-hmm. They know that policemen protect them. Mm-hmm. They know that the firemen will help them if they are, sick, or doctors will help them if they're sick, and firemen will help them if they're ever in an emergency and things like that. And that's why it's so important to invite those community members into the classroom so that they get a firsthand experience, and they're also learning about it. They're learning during Community Helper Week is when we see things like when we start to talk about 911 and stranger danger and things like that. And they're learning that at such a young age, and they're taking that with them forever.
Yes. And they're at their age 3 to 5, they're really at the age where they can really understand and process and make connections. Mm-hmm. And so they're really learning as we go through these themes, they're really learning these concepts in so many layers. So they'll learn it, through reading a book at school, and then they'll learn it at table time where they do an activity about, community helpers, and then they will dress up in the dramatic play area as community helpers. And then we invite community helpers to come. I mean, what more and how ideal is it that the way that we approach in teaching young kids, I feel like we should do that for everyone because they're learning it in so many different contexts and so many different approaches that if they didn't quite get it the first time, they're getting it more and more. And if they did get it the first time, then they're learning it on such a deeper level. And that's what you really want. You want learning to be interest-based, but also deep so that they can internalize it and apply it. And then now they're making connections into how the world works, what is their role in their community, what could be their potential role in the future. Yeah, it allows them to just explore and imagine all the possibilities because they have a real understanding of the world around them.
Yeah.
I think it's also important at this age. Our kids at 3 to 5 years are so much more independent. So now they really know how to wash their hands. They are potty trained. They are so proud of themselves, of being potty trained and being able to, control their bodily urges. And they also learn how to protect themselves and respect each other and each other's bodies. A lot of times, it's kind of the age where they're becoming more exploratory about their bodies. And sometimes we're having very mature conversations about their bodies.
Which is normal.
Which is totally, totally normal. I think we all start to kind of, we start to get a little bit, our senses are heightened when we start talking about.
Well, and as adults, it's uncomfortable because we have an adult thinking of what is happening.
Yes.
But as a child, they are just exploring their bodies and what cause and effect.
Yeah.
And so we as adults, as teachers and parents need to take our emotions out of it and remember that it is normal and that if your child has just finished potty training and they have mastered it and they're in the bathroom, they might be curious about the opposite sex and what their body looks like.
Yeah.
And that is so normal. And it is so important for parents and teachers to have those conversations as they arise in a very appropriate manner. So using anatomically correct names for things, for body parts, and for certain words, using the correct words so that their children understand and they can have very open conversations about it. And when you start those conversations so young at 3 to 5, then when they are teenagers, they are going to be more open to having those conversations with their peers and with their parents in a comfortable way and ultimately keeping them safe. Yes.
And so it's for parents and teachers, it's absolutely natural for them to wonder about their private areas. This is your opportunity to teach them that, boys and girls are different and have different body parts, but that they are private. And so, all the time, if there's potty talk, you go straight to the potty.
Yeah.
It's only a time and place to discuss these areas. We all respect each other's body parts or, entire bodies. We do not touch or push or do anything to each other's bodies without, asking or making sure that we're making our friends feel comfortable. And we have hard conversations with our older friends.
Yeah.
I've had to tell them, just because this is what I would want for my kids, is we want them to be set up for any situation that they may come across as they get older. And so if a certain friend is, checking under the stalls or if a certain friend is, peeking at you, you have a right to say, hey, this is private. This is my body. Right. Stop looking. And you need to give them that script to be firm and clear and not disrespectful. You're just fighting to, you want boundaries.
Yeah.
Teaching those boundaries is so important.
Right. And this also goes with things like hugging your friends and hand holding and just touching in general, like hitting and kicking, like you're saying, and just respecting each other's bodies. And so there are certain times when for any age, but I've heard a lot from our 4-year-olds where they say, I don't want to hug. Yeah. I don't want to hug. Or their parent will come pick them up and they'll say, okay, say bye to your friends, give so-and-so a hug. And they say, I don't want to. I don't want to hug them. And that's so great that they are saying that because they are saying that they don't want their body touched. They, for many different reasons, they're not in the mood. They're uncomfortable. They just want to go home, but they're saying they don't want their body touched. I don't want to hug. And we teach them that it is okay and it is still being respectful.
Yes.
Your friend is not being unkind to you. They are just respecting their bodies.
Yes.
So this goes in ways of respecting your private areas, but also respecting your entire body as a whole.
Yes. And respecting when someone says no. And so that they learn that at a really young age. And that's just communicating again. Right. They need to communicate what they need, what they want, what they don't want, so that when they are at a bigger school with older kids and, a lower ratio, they're able to have those conversations and handle those conflicts themselves. I have told our older friends in terms of safety and stranger danger. If an adult or someone that you know or don't know, are approaching you and are asking to do things to your private areas or asking you about your private areas or, teaching them this is the boundary. Yeah. If mommy and daddy or, certain whatever your parents decide in terms of who is allowed to do what, who's allowed to wipe you in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Who is, who isn't. If a friend or an adult is crossing that boundary, this is what you say. No, no, thank you. Go tell your teacher right away. They need to know that my body is mine. This is my boundary. Please respect it. And if someone older than them is, pushing that, how do you react?
Yeah. And this is super helpful to learn in school that parents that's not something they think of. They don't think that they're going to learn this in school. And it may be so helpful to parents, especially first-time parents who are uncomfortable because they've never been through it.
Yeah.
And so it's so helpful to be a part of a team and be a part of a team with your child's teacher because you know that they'll learn it at school and at home. It also opens up the doors of they come home, your child comes home from school and they heard this from a friend. And so it opens the door for the parents to have those open conversations. And the younger that all of that starts, the better, because like I said, you'll be able to have those more open conversations when they're older, and they'll just feel more comfortable coming to you as a parent. And that's why we teach it in early childhood.
Yeah. And it's just how to respond to challenging social situations. Even if, I learned this inappropriate thing, well, what are our values as a family? What are our values in our classroom? Even if that friend said that, we do this. Even if that friend or that family chooses to do that, that's totally fine. And we accept it. We're accepting of everyone and we love everyone. However, this is our values and this is how we choose to, react. And so that's just, it's great to be in school for that, but also parents have to be prepared.
Yes.
How many times I've had to have conversations with my daughter about friends and even like, I know you like that friend, but guard your heart. I've said that to her.
Yeah, because they're learning good, positive things, and they're also learning not so good, negative things, which are equally important because they're coming home and they're saying a certain word or they're playing with a, certain way. And that is a perfect time to say, as a family, we don't value this word or we don't value this action. And so they are learning, okay, it is okay for this child to do it because their family is completely different than mine.
Yeah.
And it's not okay for me to do it. And so that is the individuality that they are learning at such a young age.
Yes. And so again, it falls back to your values as a family, the values as a school. Do they align? Do you see partners with the teachers in the classroom to help you teach those values to your kids? And are you ready? Are you ready to have, because I've had to have hard conversations with parents and you can just tell that they weren't prepared for these challenges. And it's not a good or bad thing. It's just like, okay, we're in it now. Ultimately, it's a positive thing because it's providing opportunities for you to teach lifelong, practical, social skills for your kids to deal with hard situations. And it's better that they do it now when they're so young.
I was just going to say, I feel like I hear a lot of parents, and even you say a lot of the times, that I didn't realize I was going to have this conversation with my 3-year-old, but you will, especially if they're in a school setting. And if your child is very well spoken for their age and they're saying lots of different things, and you're going to have these hard conversations at a very young age. And it's good because then you'll know how to talk about it when they're older.
Yes. It's a more controlled setting in order to lay that foundation of thinking and values and appropriate responses for your kids. And it's a simpler situation to teach them those values so that when they are 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, those situations become more complex, but they're still going to fall back on these skills, this reasoning. And so it's just so important, but it's equally important for them to be in school and have those opportunities, but you can't have those things take place and not have those conversations.
Right.
So then, because if you don't have those conversations and you don't nip certain things in the bud, then being in school is not a great thing.
Yeah. Well, and it's because, school is not for every child. Of course, we want them all, but if every family dynamic is different, and it might be better for this certain child to have one-on-one care with a nanny or babysitter or stay at home with a parent.
If you're not able to if you don't have the ability or time or flexibility to, take advantage of those moments.
Right. Yeah.
Everything that the kids have been, all the skills that they have been building since infancy, all the fine motor skills, all the gross motor skills is now culminating to this age of 3 to 5 of where they can really apply it to where they can do exciting things. So now they can play soccer and understand the nature of a game, a competitive game, and learn sportsmanship because they can run and kick and, do all those things. They've built their fine motor skills so strong. So now they can write their name and they can trace and they can write sentences. So now they are strong enough to be able to have real practical skills.
Yeah. And like you're saying, this all infancy in the toddler classroom, it all led up to this point. And they are able to problem solve while they're doing their games. You mentioned soccer, and we have a really great, thriving soccer program at our school. And we don't have many conflicts during our soccer practices because our children have such great problem solving skills. And they are able to focus less on, oh, I can't run, I can't kick this ball, because they've mastered that skill. And then if this person tripped, they help them up. If this person accidentally took their ball, they say, oh, that's my ball, yours is over there. They have all of these skills to help them in competitive sports and to help them on the playground, even if they're just during free, unstructured play. They have all those skills. And then in the classroom, they have their desk skills where they can sit in a desk and write their name and trace certain things. And all of that will make them so much more prepared and confident when they go into elementary school. Absolutely.
So really it's, I know we keep saying it, but everything's just culminating into this 3 to 5 year old age where, fine and gross motor skills are down. Now they're shining in their sports and their writing skills. They are more equipped to handle conflicts. So when they play sports or when they play with their friends on the playground, they can resolve their issues in a calm and respectful manner. They have learned time and time again to get back up when they fall or when they're crawling or standing or when they keep making mistakes. So now they are receptive and willing to take on challenges when they're learning. And so you've really built this little human who's ready to take on challenges in every respect because they feel capable and confident and strong. And in times when they don't, then your teacher who knows you very, very well since who's seen you at school since you were an infant, they know how to support you really, really well because they know your nature and they know when to anticipate when you'll have challenges. So it's really the perfect learning set up and environment for kids if you're finding a quality program, because then your kid should go into kindergarten feeling so good and so ready. And I watch our kids now, our 3 to 5 year old kids, and they're in this perfect, harmonious
family
classroom dynamic. And it's so beautiful because they are getting along with each other. They are helping each other. They are respecting each other and listening to the teachers really well and expressing their ideas. It's just a really amazing little microcosm of a society that is perfectly run, because they have the skills to do that. So if they're able to be a phenomenal citizen in this little classroom, they're going to take that with them into kindergarten and the rest of their life.